The title of today's story is The Stingy Rich Man. Do you know what stingy means? No. Stingy means you have money, but you don't want to spend it. You don't want to spend your money, you just want to hold on to it. Once upon a time, in the big city, there was a rich man who has a family. One day, the rich man decided, I want to eat some rice cakes. So he told his wife, said, hey wife, make me some rice cakes. She says, okay, we can make enough, we're so rich, we can make enough for the whole city. He's like, what's wrong with you? You trying to show off or something? You don't want to give it to the whole city, you crazy. Then he said, okay. The wife then says, well then let's make it for the whole family. He says, the kids don't even work, they don't appreciate it, they don't need to eat it. So she says, okay, well let's make enough for you and me. And he's like, oh, you just always want to eat my rice cakes. You always want to eat what I want to eat. She said, okay. I'll make some for you. He's like, good. So she starts to make it in the kitchen. He's like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm making the rice cakes. You're going to make it here in the kitchen? He's like, why, what's wrong with that? People are going to smell it, and they're going to come ask for something, then I have to spend my money. You always try to spend my money, complaining again. And so the wife says, okay, what do you want me to do? He says, go up to the 7th floor. Go cook it up there so that no one will smell it. She's like, okay, husband, I'll do what you say. So she goes up to the 7th floor and gets ready to cook the rice cakes. At the same time, at the temple, the Buddha, every morning the Buddha uses his special powers and searches the whole world to see who is ready to become enlightened and just needs a little bit of help. And he saw that this husband and wife, they're not enlightened yet, but if they get a little bit of help, they can become sotapanna, which is the lowest level of enlightenment. So he sent his student, the Venerable Moggallana, who had special powers, to go help them. So when they're about to make the rice cakes, the Venerable Moggallana flew and was right outside the window. And he was just walking back and forth in the middle of the air on the 7th floor. And so the husband looked at him and said, wife, don't look. There's a monk out there. She's like, oh, I see him. Yeah, don't look. He wants food, but we're not going to give him anything. And he just kept walking back and forth. And the guy says to him, hey, monk, go away. We're not going to give you anything. Even if you walk for 1,000,000 years, I won't give you anything. Don't think you can get my food. And the monk just kept walking quietly in the air, back and forth. Finally, the man said, you know what? He's not going to leave. Fine, wife. Take a tiny piece and fry it. And then we'll give him that, and then he'll leave us alone. So the wife took a tiny piece, like a tiny piece of flour, and put it in the hot fire. The pan is about this big. Right when she put the tiny piece in, that piece, with like the power of magic, filled up the whole pan. He yelled at his wife so much, what's wrong with you? I told you a tiny piece. She's like, I did, it was this much. I don't believe you, it's a full pan. You must have put in too much. You always do this. And so the wife says, well, you do it. He says, fine, I'll do it. So he takes his finger and takes the tiniest flour, the piece of, not flour, but like the flour, the powder, and put it in the pan. It filled the whole pan again. He's like, what's going on? I don't want to give him this much. Each time he put in a tiny bit, it filled up the whole pan, filled up the whole pan, filled up the whole pan. He did it so many times, he started to get tired. He's like, you know what? I don't even want to eat this anymore. Let's just offer it to him, because obviously it's his magic power that's causing this, so let's just give it to him. And he went to the monk and said, monk, is this what's happening because of you? Is this why this is happening? And the Venerable Moggallana said, it's the power of charity. When you know how to give to other people, when you're kind and you share with other people, the things that you have increase. People get more. The more you give, the more you have. The more you give, the more you have. The more selfish you are, the less you have. The old man and his wife were so impressed by the monk, they said they want to pay respects and have the Venerable Moggallana become their new teacher. He's like, no. Don't bow to me, go bow to my teacher, the Buddha. He says, well, I want to offer all this food to the Buddha and his monks, but they're far away, like San Francisco and LA, like very far away. We cannot go there. The Venerable Moggallana says, if you really want to go, I'll make sure you get there on time for lunch. They're like, we want to go. So they grabbed all their stuff and walked down the stairs. But when they opened the front door, they were standing right in front of the temple. And so they walked out, they saw the Buddha and all his monks, and they gave the offering to all the Buddha and all his monks. Afterward, the Buddha talked about the sermon about charity. We live in a world with many people. Life is very hard for a lot of people. The more we give each other, the more kindness we have, the more help we give to each other, we make life better. We make life more bearable. Kindness, charity, compassion. That's how we should act when we live in this world. After listening to this sermon, the husband and the wife became sotapannas. And for the rest of their life, they were always helpful, doing charity, and being good people. Sadhu.